Alright everyone, welcome back. This is going to be game number 2 here between SjoW and MaNa in the series between these two players. This time we are here on Xel'Naga Caverns. Took me a second there. We have SjoW, the red Terran player, spawning in the lower left-hand position. And over here in the upper right, MaNa, the victor of game number 1, as our green Protoss player here in the, yes, upper right-hand position. So this map, much unlike last map, isn't quite, you do see macro games in here, you certainly do, but it's certainly not nearly as large as Tal'Darim Altar, and you can get away with aggressive builds. So this is a different map and a different dynamic altogether. And that is something that, I tried to touch on, and I have mentioned in a few of my videos in the past. The types of builds you do and what you go into a game expecting from your opponent is really dependent on the map, basically any advantages or disadvantages that they have, and we're talking about the structure of natural expansions. We're talking about how wide open the center of the map is, any choke points, and whatever race may take advantage of that depending on unit composition. And then with the expansions and how defendable they are, that lends itself into how likely someone is to quick expand, and then also the size of the map lends itself into how likely someone is to quick expand, because the larger the map it's safer, smaller the map it's a little more dangerous. All these things come into play. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because I tried to give you guys tidbits of information. I know I do the strategy videos every week, and I try to give you guys tidbits of information, even in the commentaries as well, so that you can try to think about this stuff while you're playing StarCraft yourself. And if you're just a fan of watching and you just like the commentaries, you like my style, and you like the excitement of the game, well, that's great too. But if you play, definitely keep in mind, what your opponent is going to do and what you should be thinking about is going to be map dependent. Larger maps more likely to expand, smaller maps more likely to be aggressive, and then a whole host of other things. So anyways, enough of that. We can see SjoW opening up pretty standard so far this game. 10 depot, 12 racks, 13 refinery, and then that second depot coming, as well as that orbital command right there, and the first marine making its way on through. Now back over here for MaNa, again, everything looking pretty standard over there for him. So nothing too funny, nothing too funky going on for either player right now. And last game, SjoW trying for that marine drop harass, and in all honesty, that can be quite effective. But you know what? Observers sat right on top of SjoW that entire game. MaNa had 100% vision as to what was going on consistently. The observer scout sitting right on top of SjoW's army in the middle of the map told him when the drops were going and what direction they were moving in. That was a really terrible situation for SjoW. If he had just spotted that observer, if he was just looking a little closer, he could have dropped a scan, taken it out, and then those drops could have come as a surprise. But no, unfortunately for SjoW, it certainly wasn't the case. So we have a probe hidden over here. This could be for two things. We could be looking at secondary scouting or proxy pylon for some type of harass. Both of these things are an option. We do have an expansion coming out right now for MaNa, so he's actually deciding to go one gate expand. Even though it's a little riskier than what it was on last map, he's still opting for this build. And I'm going to be especially concerned here, SjoW sticking to some one-base play, at least for the start. We do have that reactor just finishing right now on the racks. Looks like we will be seeing some double marines from the get-go. One Hellion will be moving out. This will be doing some scouting. And look at that Stalker, though. He's going to be getting a couple shots here. Now, the Hellion should be able to bypass him. Watch him go straight towards MaNa's base. He's not actually going to be able to keep up with that Hellion. But how much damage is that Hellion going to be able to do? Let's take a look back over here. Ooh, we just need a simple force field, and that will deny the scouting Hellion from moving into his base. But SjoW will still be spotting out this expansion. So SjoW sticking to one base, at least for the opener, does have that opportunity to do quite a bit of damage. And we do have, opening of Banshee here. It's not Cloak Banshee yet. That research may go through. The Hellion there also taking a couple more extra shots from the Stalker. But let's see, SjoW obviously scouted that expansion, as we saw, because of the force field. Wasn't able to actually push up into the main, but Banshee opening. Now this is not going to be Cloak Banshees. We can see that research isn't coming through. Looks like it'll be an opening Banshee, and then he's following up with a timing push here. We've got tanks, unupgraded Marines, and some Banshee harass, and I'm assuming this is the all-in type push where he's going to be pulling SCVs. I had actually done a strategy video on this for Terran players last week, or earlier in the week. It was one or the other. These weeks are blending together. I've been doing so much work lately on these videos that I don't even remember. I think it was earlier in this week I did the Marine Tank Banshee SCV all-in, and that looks exactly what we will be seeing here from SjoW. Now let's see how effective. Now that build is especially effective against a quick expand in Protoss. However, MaNa does still have an opportunity, and we'll see if he is able to defend himself or not. We do have a 4th gateway coming out. I am interested to see in what he has scouted out. He saw the reactor. He also saw the tech lab, but he didn't see that was on the starport, so that's certainly unfortunate indeed. And oh no, that Banshee needs to be very wary about walking into those 2 stalkers and that sentry. That's certainly something that he does not want to do. Spotting that, he in fact just decided to pull back. Now here comes the Observer Scout, but will it be in time? This timing push is actually getting ready to work its way on through. We should be seeing SjoW move out sometime very, very shortly. He is just about ready for this very strong, aggressive 1-base timing push. If he does pull it with SCVs, which I expect him to do, it's an all-in. And here it is, the all-in from SjoW. Now, is this too early for SjoW, though? His Marine numbers are okay, but are they strong enough? That's really going to be the question. We still have another tank and Banshee getting ready to come on through. Observer Scout, MaNa is fully aware, and what's the preparation? What is MaNa going to do? How is he going to be prepared for this? It clearly seems like he does not have the forces right now. 27 supplies opposed to the 36. He's also going to have all those SCVs to contend with. A couple stalkers trying to take advantage of their speed advantage here over the army, and they're trying to get a couple shots and soften up this army before it actually pushes into the natural expansion. But SjoW is coming with this. MaNa knows about it, and hopefully for his case, he is prepared. So here we go, pushing forward. We will be seeing the Guardian Shield go down. SCV's mass repairing on those Hellions. We got the tanks back there as well. The Immortals will be going straight for the tanks as well as that Zealot, and that Immortal doing a lot of damage. He needs to target fire the tank though. No, being forced back. SjoW doing lots of damage here. MaNa forced back, and he's trying to warp in some more units to be able to help with him. He still has that Immortal up. There's only 1 tank right now. A 2nd reinforcement tank is coming down. Hellion and mass SCVs pushing back. The probes forced back to the line. We got a couple force fields being dropped down. That's helping tremendously cut those forces in half. MaNa is thinning up these numbers right now. He's got a few more reinforcements, but he's still on the ropes. SjoW has quite a bit. The big problem, though, is SjoW's Marine numbers are getting slower and lower right now. We've got some heavy saturation here in the main base, and he needs to get the Banshee target fire down by the Stalker. We got another Stalker coming in. We'll be trying to target fire down the Banshee. Still a few more Marines, as well as those 2 tanks, but MaNa, there it is, the GG. So a 1-base all-in from SjoW secures the victory. Now, upon closer inspection, it appears that this was just 2 games. It wasn't necessarily a series because MaNa won the 1st game and SjoW won the 2nd game, but that's it, guys. 2 games, and there you go. That's pretty interesting. I have no idea, in all honesty, what it's coming from. I'm sure someone has some insight onto where this is from, though. But anyways, that's about enough of that. It's just these 2 games between these 2 players. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed it. They were 2 pretty quick but interesting games nonetheless. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. And as always, keep watching and keep owning.